All right, let's get into this. You know, when you think of the comedian Jimmy Carr, you're probably picturing those razor-sharp, maybe a little controversial one-liners. But what's fascinating is that underneath all the jokes, he's actually built this surprisingly profound philosophy for just dealing with the modern world. And that's exactly what we're going to break down here.
So Carr's whole idea starts from a place that's, well, it's just impossible to argue with. I mean, just look around you. We've got hot showers on demand, medicine that can cure things that would have been a death sentence a century ago, and more entertainment than we can consume in 1,000 lifetimes. Objectively speaking, our lives are better than at any other point in all of human history.
And yet, here's the huge paradox he zeroes in on. If we're all living like royalty compared to our ancestors, then why are we in the middle of a mental health crisis? Why is there so much depression, so much widespread unhappiness? Why do so many of us feel, deep down, the things are actually worse than ever?
Carr has this absolutely brilliant term for this exact feeling. He calls it life dysmorphia. It's this weird modern condition of thinking your life is terrible, not because it actually is, but because you've gotten so used to how great things are that your entire baseline for what's normal is just completely skewed.
And this is where you can really see that disconnect in action. On the one hand, objectively, we have all these incredible comforts, but on the other hand, subjectively, well, we're on this hedonic treadmill, which means we just adapt to the good stuff almost instantly. So instead of feeling content, we get this state of constant envy, which is just supercharged by seeing everyone else's perfect life online.
So, what's really going on here? What's the root problem? According to Carr, it isn't that our lives are hard. No, the problem is that they're too easy. He calls it the comfort crisis, and he thinks it's the real source of our life dysmorphia.
So how does this comfort crisis actually show up in our lives? Well, because we don't have enough real-world struggle or real-world risk, we go looking for these low-stakes replacements. Carr calls them proxies. Think about it. Video games give you the feeling of career progression without the risk of getting fired. Online porn can mimic intimacy without any of the vulnerability. And social media, it gives us the feeling of community but without any of the actual effort.
Man, this quote from Carr just absolutely nails it, doesn't it? Nobody is forcing us to do this. We are willingly, happily, trading our real-world agency, our actual power to go out and build a meaningful life for that easy, super quick hit of cheap dopamine that these proxies give us.
Okay, so that's the diagnosis of the problem. It's a little bleak, right? But what's the prescription? What's the fix? Carr's view is that we can't really change the modern world, but we can change our own minds. He lays out this whole framework for rewiring our mindset so we can actually find real satisfaction in this bizarrely comfortable world we've built.
He really boils it down to 3 big mindset shifts. First, you've got to actively practice gratitude. Really appreciate that hot shower. Don't just take it for granted. Second, you have to intentionally embrace struggle. Find the joy, the happiness of the pursuit itself, not just in crossing the finish line. And third, and this one is a real game changer, you have to totally redefine what self-esteem even means.
This redefinition, it's just such a powerful mental shift. You see, the old way of thinking is tying your self-worth to a specific outcome. I have a six-pack. I got the promotion. The new way is to tie it to your identity. I am the kind of person who goes to the gym. I am the kind of person who puts in the work. Your value isn't in the trophy at the end. It's in your actions. It's in your character.
I absolutely love this analogy because it's so true. The whole point of embracing struggle isn't about hoping that life will magically get easier, that the weights will get lighter. Nope. The point is that you get stronger. You become more resilient, more capable of handling all the stuff that life is inevitably going to throw at you.
Okay, so let's say we accept this. Struggle builds character, and real happiness is found in the pursuit. So what does that actually mean for the choices we make every single day? Well, this leads us right to what Carr calls the great trade-off, and it's a fundamental choice we're all making, whether we realize it or not.
Most of us, if we're being honest, spend the vast majority of our time and energy on the things that are super easy to measure, right? Our salary, our job title, how many followers we have. But in doing that, we often neglect the stuff that's immeasurable, things like our health, our time with family, our deep, real-world relationships. We are constantly trading the immeasurable for the measurable.
And this is the gut punch. This is the really poignant warning. We so often don't appreciate the true value of that immeasurable stuff, that time with our parents, or our partners, or our kids, until it's gone. We only really notice its importance when its value suddenly drops to 0. And by then,
it's just too late.
So all of this brings us to the ultimate point, the real goal of this entire philosophy. Practicing gratitude, embracing the struggle, focusing on identity, valuing the immeasurable. What's it all for? What are we building? It turns out all of these are just tools for one single thing, building character.
And at the end of the day, Jimmy Carr's philosophy really rests on this one fundamental, almost ancient truth. You can't have both. A great character, the kind of person you're actually proud to be, it isn't formed in comfort and ease. It's forged in the fire of adversity, of challenge, and of meaningful struggle. And that leaves us with this final, incredibly powerful question to just sit with for a minute. When it's all said and done, when you look back on your life, which of these two documents is going to tell the truer story? Is it the list of your accomplishments on your resume, or is it the memories and stories people share about who you were as a person at your eulogy? What really matters more?